there?
I cannot hear a word you're saying. I see your mouth moving, but I can't see a word. If you can hear me, then something's wrong. Probably on, I don't know. I didn't hear the theme music. I didn't hear anything.
I can hear you just fine. Can everybody hear me? All right. Well, everybody can hear everybody, but you can't hear us, Epic. So hi. How are you and you and you and you and you? I don't know. You gotta reconnect your microphone or something. Uh I mean, we can hear you when you talk. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but how's everyone doing? Uh I have had, yes, Grace, there were so here's the thing. I had a fabulous weekend, but I wouldn't call it lots of, well, yes, there were shenanigans, but this type of shenanigans, everyone kept their clothes on. Someone who lives in sin cannot hear. Surprise, surprise! Surprise, surprise! But yes, so it was, I know, Grace, but let me tell you, I'm trying to vamp until my co-host comes because he had a fun weekend. So we both had big fun. And we had donuts. I did not have donuts, but we'll start by saying hello to everyone. So Grace was the first one to hop on at 7:46, and Lola did not forget us this time. So thank God she was able to make it. And then, of course, Tyra is here. Tyra, hey boo. Okay, Epic. So you going to join the actual show? So yeah. But yes, so this weekend was Memorial Day weekend, and it was also DC Black Pride weekend. So a lot of stuff went down. So we're going to give Epic a second. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and just say hello to everyone. So yeah, dead air and silence. Meanwhile, I am glad that I don't have to schlep down to New Newport News tomorrow for work because I was not at all excited about that. And this is going to be the calm before the storm because Black Pride was last weekend. This weekend is quiet time, and then next weekend is World Pride when 30,000 expected 3 million members of the Lgbt are descending upon the city of Washington, D.C. and surrounding suburbs. I am told that hotel rooms are next to non-existent, and anyone that you might find will be hundreds of dollars.
and
Now
anyone
you're gonna have to mute yourself, Epic, because now there's an echo.
What the fuck?
I can hear you now. And
but I can't hear you.
Baby, you got to put some headphones on or something. I don't understand. I mean, this is what, you had Verizon. Why did you go back to DSL? I don't know. What is the problem? What is the problem?
So, first off, let's bring it down. Whatever this is.
No, I can't bring it down. I'm still hyped up for Memorial Day.
I'm already listen. I'm in my robe and my muumuu. I am so tired from this weekend. Hey all, sorry for the difficulties. I don't know what it is. Every now and then you just need to restart your computer, I guess. I don't know what that's all about. But in any event, I am so worn out in a good way. Definitely in a good way from this past weekend.
So before we get to the weekend, tell us. I hear that there is some interesting goings on at the Black Degree Factory.
Baby, oh my God. Okay, listen.
So get it. This is why I didn't want to start the show, because I was like, because he messaged me and Tara Nicole on the side, and it was like, bitch. And we was like, tell us. He was like, no, I'm saving it for the show. So now is the show. So let's get into it.
Listen, okay, so here's where we are. Picture it.
So boom.
Right. So boom, picture it. Here we are. This is how it goes down. This is what it is. So we in our little conference call or whatever. We try to get everything together. The whole team, we talking about stuff. And then there was a meeting request that came through for like an emergency meeting. I was like, what the fuck is this emergency meeting? What is that all about? I had a couple people call me, ask me what the emergency meeting was about. I was like, what the fuck? All right, cool. I accept the meeting. I go into the meeting. And then at the same time, I get a phone call from one of my colleagues. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, what is this meeting about? She was like, well, I don't really know what to tell you. And then all of a sudden, my director calls me and he's calling me on my cell phone. I was like, why is he calling me on my cell phone? Shouldn't he be in this meeting? She was like, you might want to take that call because that's what it's going to be all about. Well, I get on the phone and my director says to me, he says, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you put me into the Teams call? I said, sure. I said, I'll send you the invitation. I don't know. You didn't get it. Whatever. He said, yeah. He said, for some reason, I may not be able to get in. I said, well, okay. So I just sent it to him. He said, no, send my email or whatever. And he said, matter of fact, just leave the phone on. I said, well, you are on and you're on speaker because I'm talking to you while I'm in the Teams call with other people.
Very messy and confused to me.
And so he starts talking over the phone and he says, hey, good afternoon, everyone. He said, it seems like I'm already locked out of all of my accounts here at the Black Degree Factory, but I just want to let you all know that it's been a pleasure working with you all. And today is my last day. What? Who? Huh? What are we talking about? How we do that? He goes on, he talks about all this stuff, and he's talking to individual people, telling them how they were, praising them for this, that, and the other. But he goes back to the original statement of he's no longer needed there and that they're going in a different direction. And so that was his last day. So this starts a flurry of phone calls and conversations from everybody. And they're asking me, I was like,
you might expect.
But bitch, I'm fine. I'm just like y'all are. Like, what are we talking about? Why the fuck are you calling me? Like, literally, he just said this is what's going down. So I was like, well, what the fuck? So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So I'm behind the scenes. I'm messaging people. I was like, what the fuck is going on? What is this? Listen. I get off the phone. I get off the call because we were on this call for like damn near an hour. And we have to go into all these other meetings. So I'm still texting my director or my ex-director at this particular point. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Then it's this thing of, somebody has to step in as the interim director, somebody has to step in as the interim deputy director. I was just like,
oh, you got a pay raise?
No. I am not interested in neither one of those. Neither one of those I'm not interested in. I don't want to do any of that stuff. No, ma'am. No, Pam. No, ham. No, Sam. No, I don't want none of it. I'm cool right where I am. I don't want to do that. No. And we don't know how long this is. And I know the Black Degree Factory, they get people in these positions that are interim, and interim, which usually means anywhere from a month to 6, usually winds up being like 2 to 3 years before they find somebody. Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. No, ma'am. No.
But does it come with a pay raise?
It would come with a pay raise for that specified period of time, but that specified period of time it's going to be more aggravation on top of what the fuck I got going on now. Absolutely not. I'm not interested. I'm not interested at all. I'm not. I don't even want to be a director of that. I don't want to be a director. I'm sorry. I'm not there.
Why so negative?
Listen, the fact that you are the person that the person that is actually going to answer to the feds. No, I'm good, baby. I'm cool. I am good. I don't want to talk to you all. I don't want to talk to y'all. I have to talk to y'all once a year when it comes to taxes. I don't want to talk to y'all bitches no more. I don't want to talk to y'all at all. No, ma'am. So again, on top of that, we had the announcement that we had one of our other staff members who's been there for, I don't know, at least 30 years, less than 45 years, but they're retiring come June 30th. Okay, well, all right. So that's a whole division at the Black Degree Factory that there's nobody that's there to fill that spot. Then there's also another position on that same side that's a brand new position that they're trying to get someone in that they just hired that's starting on Monday. Okay, great. We are still short people on the undergraduate side from our scholarship team, even from our counselors. We are still short. We're short 3 people. There's also a hiring freeze that's going on. We have positions that are out there, but we can't hire anyone until after the hiring freeze. But we started some people, started interviewing people before then, and a whole bunch of reasons as to why they weren't extended an offer for whatever reason. It just ain't happened. So we're short. And we're also at the end of this academic year, which I was telling you all about, where people are graduating, all the graduation ceremonies and all that other stuff. But, these people have bills and they have problems, and they have a lot of bills. They have a lot of problems from prior semesters because there were things that administration decided they would allow students to do, but not quite understand the ramifications of their actions. So, for instance, during COVID, at one particular point, they decided to give people amnesty as far as their grades and all that other stuff. Well, listen, if you're giving them amnesty when it comes to this thing called satisfactory academic progress, which is on a federal level, which means you have at least a 2.0, you've completed 24 credits, and you're within the maximum time frame, which is like 150% of your degree and all that, like all of that stuff goes into it. But baby, if you don't have that, you're not eligible for any financial aid. So here you are with someone that is failing SAP at the end of this academic semester. You've given them amnesty, which means that they now can register, they can get into their classes, they can get into books and everything else, but they have no way of making this grade point average up in no way, shape, or form before they graduate. No way. It's just not possible. But then we get on the other side of that after we've allowed them to register. They now have a bill and they don't understand why they have a bill, and they don't understand, why we can't give them any money, and they don't understand because y'all allowed me to register. Well, you shouldn't have been allowed to register, but this whole amnesty thing. But again, these are decisions that are made way above me, that are trickling down, that are affecting us and affecting the students in all these different ways. So some of these students that have had bills for whatever reason, whether they were given amnesty at one particular point and balances rolled over, or if they just, it miraculously forgot that they had a balance at the end of the academic year from last year, and somehow they walk. This is how you know they're lying. They walk into you and they say, well, my ePay says 0 balance, so I'm here to pick up my tickets. Your ePay, your electronic pay, and how you pay has absolutely nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with my part of the Black Degree Factory. So the fact you came in and told me that your balance is 0, baby, you lying. You know you had a balance. And I'm going to tell you why you had a balance. You had a balance because we allowed you to register. And that means that balance that was at the end of the spring semester last year, it didn't just miraculously go away. It was lifted, or the hold was lifted so you could register. So now you have that balance that's carried over from this prior semester. It doesn't mean you're not going to have a balance from the fall and or from the spring, but you have a prior balance. So now that you're trying to graduate, you've never paid that prior balance from last year. So now you can't get your tickets and you can't walk across that stage because you still have this prior balance. But you're going to tell me you got a 0 balance on ePay. No, girl. That's not how this works, unfortunately. So all of that to say, we are in a real jacked up position as far as I'm concerned. And for me to be over top of all this and to be trying to manage all that, I am not interested.
It just feels like you're being negative.
I am not interested. Listen, okay, well, I'm being negative. I'll go ahead and take it. Listen, I'm Debbie Downer, negative Nancy. I'm all that. I am not interested in that. Because again, when you tell people something, you give them the answer to their question, and the answer is based off of facts that come from, let's just say, the federal government. You don't believe or you don't like what I said to you. So you just think that there's another way around it. So you go all the way around the mulberry bush. You send all this information, all these complaints, I didn't get what I wanted. They weren't helpful. They didn't do this. So fun stuff. You go all the way up the chain to the president, all the way down. And it still comes back down to me. And I still have to tell you, no. But the fact that I was rude to them because I told them something they didn't like, that's what the issue is. Baby, the issue is you failed SAT. That's what the issue is. Let's start with that. You just, there's no way you're going to graduate with at least 2.0 in these 2 semesters you got left, and you have a 1.3 GPA. There's no way after 6 semesters, in 2 semesters. Listen. So now it becomes the issue of them versus us. And I get it. The Black Degree Factory has had a lot of issues, a lot of scandals and everything, and people are always talking, and all the alumni and all the students, everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to try to get their inside this, and this is my frat, this is my soror. Oh, I'm going to go talk to this. I'm going to do this. And
Child, them girls be like, yeah, this is my frat, but baby, I have a job.
Baby, on top of that,
I'm not about to lose my job because you my frat. Because, bitch, are you going to pay my salary if I get fired for doing some shit that's out of policy? I think
but
not.
Then you want to spray paint on the wall, check out the salaries of all the financial aid people and also the stuff. And I was just like, y'all motherfuckers are mess.
Say that again.
Listen, so I told you about, we got our building was spray painted. It was vandalized. I think I shared with you the visuals. I'll share. I'm not going to put it online, but I'm going to share with you. But yes, this was a while ago. This was probably about like 2 or 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
About 2 months ago. But again, all of this stuff comes into play when we start talking about getting rid of the director. And then I'm looking at this game plan that seems to be moving right along, which is trying to make another department the entry as well as the gateway into the university and the gateway to get all the aid that they actually need. And it's like, baby, we're 2 separate offices and we're governed by federal regulations, Title IV, Title IX, like all these different things that we're governed by, Department of Ed and all this other stuff. And this side, which is, are you going to be admitted? Y'all just basically want to figure out if they got the grades and if they can pay. But y'all can't even do that because you want us to fund them. But these are the same people that don't have no money, but y'all let them in. Knowing this place costs $60,000. What? I digress. I'm going off on a tangent here. But yes, that was the scandal. But of course, I was just like,
that was definitely a scandalo.
Yeah, and it's still going on because there are people today we were in meetings that were just still saying stuff. And then people are like, everybody's trying to get the inside scoop. They're like, so I hear that such and such is no longer here. That's correct. Well, what happened? He no longer works for the university. That's it. That's all I know.
Well, I mean, they're trying to get you to give the tea.
I can't even lie and say I can't even sit on the stand and lie and say no shit that I know nothing because I don't fucking know what's going on. But all I do know is I know how it feels, and I know that it feels like this was something that was planned, and that's a whole nother part of the story that I've mentioned about about the certain one of my coworkers who I think is one of the kids, but she just I can't quite figure out who she knows because she fucked around and called me by my name, and I was like,
called you by what name?
Not by my birth name, because that's what I go by when I go
get you Epic.
The other one. How you have me listed in your phone. So
well, so girl, hold on now.
Exactly. My whole point is, bitch, somebody that I know. And it's okay. I'm fine with that. So what that also does for me is that confirms for me in my mind that while you may not necessarily be a part of the legitimate quad, you're at least an ally. But if you ask me, in my opinion, girl, you waving your flag.
Now, if you messy like that, then are you really an ally?
So listen, she ain't really an ally. She's part of the community, but that's just how I'm. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, allegedly, because I don't know for a fact. Okay, all right. But in any event, so again, all of this stuff, it goes into conversations that I've had about directors of other offices making comments about staff members. My director kind of stepped to them about that and was kind of like, oh, so now we're talking about people, we're body shaming people, we're calling them this, we're calling them that, that's what we're doing. Oh, okay. So all of these things that have happened, I'm just like, this is a soap opera here. I know we're talking about Beyond the Gates and all these other new stories, but baby, the Black Degree Factory got a lot going on. Tyra Nicole, baby, listen, we're going to have a conversation about some of this HR stuff because, baby, it is a lot of stuff. Listen. Who? And yes, a whole lot of slots open. Yeah. But in any event,
so since you already have the floor, why don't you go ahead and tell us about your weekend of big fun?
Okay, so let me just start by saying this.
So boom.
Memorial Day weekend, Black Gay Pride is always fun for me. That's because I get to see all the motherfucking people that I've known over the years, and it's good to see them. It just so happens they might be wrapped in some delicious package. It just so happens that some of these packages I may have unwrapped a time or 12. But they're all here, and it's an option to go back down that road. But I digress because I did none of that at all this weekend. I did none of that.
Did you go back down memory lane?
I did none of that this weekend. I did none of that. Not near nothing.
Did you stumble upon a photograph that kind of made you laugh?
Back down memory lane, I went with someone I hadn't seen in 20 years, which now we are the old aunties and the uncles at the party. That's what we are. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? We
really are, bitch, because I was like, okay, here we are.
Listen, baby. So, but in any event, I had fun because, right, it kind of made me laugh. I had big fun on Friday night because I wound up going out and I went down to my Sunday night spot and they was playing music and, our brothers were out there DJing, which was actually pretty cute. And I had a good time. I even got out to throw my hands a little bit. I got to throw my arms a little bit. And Grace and I were hanging out for a minute. Listen, I don't know about anybody else, but all I know is I had an edible or 5 and I was feeling quite nice all that time. But I was laughing so hard because I met. So how you're in the club, you're doing your little thing, and somebody walks past you, kiss that eye, and then they start smiling. That whole like. So I did that a couple times with this very short person. Then I decided, you know what? I'm the grown motherfucking man. I walked over and I said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Grace, wait a goddamn minute. By 11 p.m., I was so sleepy, ma'am. That was Friday.
But hold on,
Day weekend.
Hold on, because listen, I'm gonna get to that too. But so I went over. I said, "Hey, my name is Epic." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Hey," they were like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And I was like, oh, "Okay." I said, "So are you in town for the weekend?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm in town for the weekend." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Where are you from?" "You ain't got to know all that. I'm only here for this. I'm here till Monday. You ain't got to know all that."
Girl, bye. The fuck.
What? I was like, Well, listen, it was nice meeting you. You go ahead on, bitch. I got the fuck, like what the fuck, like what?
It's giving the same energy of the girls like we used to go to the spot, go to the glory hole after leaving the edge in the wet, and it was like, well, I don't know nobody to see me. I was like, bitch, no one knows who you are.
No one cares. All your friends know to come pick you up here, so no one cares.
Right, and anybody that you see there was there.
Like, what the fuck?
Anyway, so keep going.
So then probably about 20 to 45 minutes later, then somebody else gets out on the floor. Now, I'm sitting and I'm already drinking. I done had a couple, I was drinking.
Was this?
This was at the mug.
Okay.
And so, which is where Tyra Nicole says she saw me outside. She saw the hair from outside. But anyway, so I'm out there, and this person's out on the dance floor. They start dancing, but I'm also sitting over, and I said to Sharon, I said, now this is after Grace left, because Grace's ass was tired. I was getting tired, but Grace's ass was tired. That's because Grace parties hard and fast. Grace wants to do everything.
I got the audio on, but I'm gonna go off camera for a second.
Yeah, she wants to do everything in the first hour. She wants to get all that stuff together. And I'm not even mad at her, because if you're having a good time, do it all. Do it all, girl. But I was getting a little tired myself. But anyway, so as I'm sitting there, I was sitting down for a second. I said to one of the people that I was with, I was like, am I high? Am I drunk? Am I the only person that keeps smelling shit? So she said to me, this wasn't Grace. This was another friend of ours. And I said, I smell shit. She was like, I don't know if you're high or not. So that person that I said 20 minutes ago that was out there, that was dancing on their own, walked over and was like, hey, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. It was like, oh my God, you finally moved to DC? I was like, I've been in DC, the DMV area, for quite some time now. Like, what's up? He was like, oh, okay. I'm here until Monday. I was like,
well, good you, bitch. The fuck.
I was like, well, okay. But that shit smell that I kept talking about, Sharon said to me, she said, I smell it now. She said, it's his breath. He went over to go speak to her, and he was speaking to her, and he was saying something. It was like, but listen, and Sharon has no cut card. I was like, Sharon! She was like, if he comes back over here, I'm gonna tell him his breath smells like shit. I said, Sharon, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Don't do that. You are a visitor to this community, but bitch, I live here.
Don't do that. And then on top of that, I'm like, girl, listen, you can't even walk up the steps right. So I know if we start fighting, girl, you ain't gonna be of no help. So none. But okay. I love Sharon, and I love her to death because she always keeps shit going, and she keeps me laughing too. So that's cool. But then later on that night, as the night went on, Grace had already finally she pulled her big girl panties up, and she was like, I'm out of here. I'm going home. She had been out. She was outside having big fun with the wretched as well. I saw that for a couple seconds. But I didn't wind up getting home till damn near 3 a.m. And when I tell you I could not go to sleep till the sun comes up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30. I don't even know. But that's when the sun started coming up. That's when my ass got sleepy. I was broke down. This 3 a.m. situation.
This was Saturday morning at this point.
This 3 a.m. situation, hanging out till 3 a.m., baby, I could not do it. I was broke down. The bitch is old. I just can't. And the bar, to borrow from one of our bristers, he always says, listen, sister can't fly on one wing. Baby, listen, I understand, because baby, I was trying to I couldn't do it. Saturday night, wound up, what did I do Saturday night? Saturday night, wound up hanging out for a hot second. Where did we go? Went someplace. I forgot. Green Lantern. That's right. Went to the Green Lantern, which was actually cute. I had a good time there as well. It was real crowded. Jamal's situation was cool. I bumped into you before you were leaving out because I knew what the time schedule was, and I was like, all right, cool. So I stood outside for a minute.
That was only destination 2 of 6 that night.
Right. So listen, I got it. I got it. So I stood outside. Somebody was out there doing some illegal drugs, and so I had to stand there, and participate, just to make sure that they was okay. And then Yeah, I left and I wound up going back over to 007 and Grays, and it sat over there for a couple minutes. But bitch, I was broke down. Then I was being held hostage there by food and liquor, and then I just had to break free and going home. When I got home at like 12:30, bitch, I passed out. I was exhausted. Sunday. What the hell did we do Sunday? Sunday. What the hell did I do Sunday? I don't know what I did on Sunday. I can't remember what I did on Sunday.
See, this is why you need to keep a list.
But on Monday, I went to the park and I was there all day.
How was that? The one right by my house.
Fort DuPont. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fort DuPont was cute. And so that's where when I say the aunties and the uncles were showing up. So me and the bestie decided, he drove down from Baltimore. So, and again, first of all, I'm not really a park person, but I'll go out to the park. I'll hang out. So, but when he goes out to the park, I didn't do the parks. You could ask you could ask all my good Judies. I didn't do the park, baby. That's not what I think. I wasn't no stranger to it. I've had moments in Malcolm X Park and all type of stuff, but
there were moments.
There was moments. But so he packed a bag, he packed some food and all sorts of stuff. I was like, girl, this is a lot of shit. So we come out there with our crullers and our chairs and everything. We sitting down and it was cool. But baby, when I tell you, I saw my young gay life go right before my eyes. I must have saw all the people that I was tight with when I first came down to DC. I saw like John and Bird and Steve and like everybody, Keith and just everybody that I was always cool with that came by. I was laughing and joking with them. We was having good times. Of course, there was people behind us that was, they was doing all types of illegal drugs and stuff. And and of course, like, being the uncle that I am or the auntie that I am, depending on what side you fall on, then, but, I was making sure they was all right. I was standing there. I was like, well, let me go ahead for quality control purposes, shit like that. Sure. So, I was out there all good. And, but a bitch got sleepy somewhere around like 6:30, 7 o'clock ish. And I was like, bitch, I've had enough of this. I done drank out here. I done a whole bunch of stuff out here. And, I'm ready to go home, but I enjoyed myself. I watched the show. People was out there. I was laughing and joking with people. I hadn't seen people in quite some time. It was good to see other faces. It was great. Like I had a good time. Me and the bestie kind of sat down. We laughed and joked a little bit. We, just a whole reconnection. And it's one of those things where I've known him for over 30 years, and this is 30 years of friendship. Good, bad, and different. But the fact is, like, bitch, some of our friends are literally not here physically. Yeah. And the fact that we are still here and we are still partying and can do whatever we want to do and having a good time. Now, the partying has changed, but baby, we are still partying. Like, we're having a good time. Like, music was playing. We was dancing a little bit. We was standing around laughing, joking. It was good. Like, it was a good time. It was like a reunion. Like, I was really happy to see all the faces. And it was just happy to see some of the young kids come out. And I was just looking at them and I was saying, like, God, I was like, I remember when I was at that stage. I remember when I was at that point. I remember when, just shit like that. And it was like watching this next generation come up and the shit that they're going to be doing and the trials and tribulations that they have. And I'm just kind of glad that I'm beyond a lot of that stuff. But I'm happy that I had to go through it to get to this point. But it was just really good. So it was a really good feeling. And I know what I did Sunday night. Sunday night, I wound up going back to karaoke. That's what I did. Yeah. I couldn't figure it out. But yes, I wound up going back to karaoke. And again, another great time. So it was a great weekend. And I was still a little tired, but we're pulling it together. Thank God Monday I didn't have to go into the job. I just worked from home. So it was good for me. That was my weekend. That was my whole weekend. At some point, Tyra saw me outside. I was outside for the drugs. But anyway, other than that, it was a good weekend for me. Definitely a good weekend for me. How about yours? Because I know you were talking beforehand. You may have said some stuff, but you said it was stop 2 of 6 that particular evening. So you want to start back on Friday or you want to start with Saturday?
We'll start with the general because, so in 2010, no, we'll go back all the way back to 2008. In 2008, it rained all Memorial Day weekend. In 2009, it rained all Memorial Day weekend. In 2010, it rained most of Memorial Day weekend. So I was like, girl, and I was also getting deeper into the leather community. So 2011, which will also happen to be my 40th birthday, I decided that every month I was going to do something different. And for the month of May, I said, I'm going to go to Memorial. I'm going to go to IML for the first time. I went, had myself a lovely time, went every year from 2011 all the way through 2019. Then, of course, the world fell apart in 2020 and 2021. Then 22 and 23 and 24. Girl, I was just like,
been here, done that.
I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to go. I don't, people always ask me, like, what's going on in DC? It's like, girl, I don't know. And I ask me what's going on in New York or San Francisco or Fort Lauderdale. I can tell you all day. But girl, I don't really go out in DC, so I don't know the clubs that I'm going to go to. And the spots that I would go to, like maybe I would show my face at the Ugly Mug or at Green Lantern. I'm not trying to go and be wall to wall with a billion people and or pay an exorbitant amount of money to get into the same spot that used to be $10, in previous weeks.
And that was another thing, because I definitely for the past probably 6 or 7 years, my Memorial Day has consisted of all BBP events. Mm-hmm. I looked at the prices of the BBP events, and the cheapest one I saw was $30. And I was like, fundamentally, I'm having a problem with that. So I did not do BBP events.
Girl,
not because I didn't want to.
I had gone to an event that was only $30, but we getting there. So all right. It. So I have 3 or 4 good Bristas, and whenever Volt comes into town, it was like, all right, girl, because and so his company sponsored a number of events, so I got to tag along. So Friday, I met him at the Host Hotel for Black Pride, ran into Special K and a couple of other brothers, including one that I hadn't seen for a while. So I was walking around, saying hello, hi, how's it going? Hello, hi. And then I got inside because you weren't supposed to go. You were allowed to be in the hotel, but we're in the ballroom where they were actually having the event. One of our brothers or former brothers, Donald, was at the door. And I was like, hey, girl, multi-pass? He was like, come on in. So I'm in, right? And so I'm inside, and we were there for like 10 minutes, long enough to hear Eva Marcel say, so it's all of these things. You know how they had these stars, I've been using stars in quotation marks.
Right.
With these things. It's not that Eva Marcel isn't a star, but do
we call them stars, or are we calling them celebrities? What are we calling them now?
Celebrities, sure. Okay. But my thing is that, one, I don't really go into celebrities, like big celebrities. Like, let's say I had an opportunity to be in the same room with Beyonce. I would be excited, but I wouldn't be like losing my shit. I wouldn't be asking her for an autograph because, like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? Hold on to a piece of paper with her name on it? I mean, that just doesn't. Now, I probably would try to take a picture with her because that would be like a memory, but I wouldn't be like losing my shit over it. So if I'm not going to lose my shit over Beyonce, I'm not going to lose someone who is way south of Beyonce. And no offense to Eva Marcel or any of the other people that I ran into this weekend, but I'm just not enamored of people just because your job requires you to be on TV.
Right.
So the way that they clapped and went all in, it was like, you've seen her, and everybody was like, you've seen her on the Have and Have Nots, on all the Queen's Men, and the way they was just all going in for her. And I was just like, it's not age for me because I've never really liked reality TV, even when I was younger or all that sort of stuff. So I was just like, okay, sure, clap. I was like, clap, 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 clap. And then so she gets up and starts talking. She looked gorgeous. She said she went to her first Pride when she was 19. And she said, I'm 40 now. And she said, so you know what that means? And I'm like, You've been to 21 Prides? She said, so that means I have been to every Pride since Stonewall. And I was like,
what?
And Theo Storm, our DJ, was behind me. I turned and looked at him, and he looked at me, and he was like, the math ain't mathing. I was like, bitch, when do you think Stonewall was?
Like, bitch, what?
But I was like, okay, sure, whatever. Then we went downstairs and you had some pizza in the lobby and hung out. And I discovered a new drink.
How do you discover a new drink?
Well, it's a combination that I had not previously thought of or heard of.
Okay.
So we all know that one of my two go-to, well, I have three go-to drinks. The cheap go-to drink is always vodka cranberry splash OJ. Mm-hmm. Then my go-to vacation drink is a margarita, either frozen or on the rocks. And my go-to cruise drink is a lemon drop. So Volt, and you remember I don't want to put her name out there. I don't think she would necessarily be offended. But remember we went to that one spot with Volt and his work colleague, and she was talking about the Pendry Hotel. Well, she was there. And so they had gone to some restaurant. I got to remember to get the name of it. But they went to some restaurant and they had a tequila lemon drop. And
I'm out.
Baby, the way that shit went smooth, it was so fucking good. Oh, I was like, yes, this was delicious. I'm out. So then that was stop one. Then we left there. So we are downtown by the White House. Mm-hmm. We left there, drove all the way out to Oxon Hill for a house party. And the house party was cute. It was another one of Volt's colleagues, and he was cute. It was lots of very, very attractive people there.
Okay.
Very attractive people.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Come on back. We losing you. Come on back.
So, and you know, there was this one person there who was enamored of his place in life, I'll just say. He kept talking about, you know, who he was and where he was and what organization he was the president of and everything. And so I'm there with Volt, and Isu came into town. So, you know, Isu is funny because Isu...
Baby, I lives for that motherfucker is hilarious. But go ahead.
So he says to me, you know, what do? I said, you know, I give you the high level because if I go into detail, it'll lose you and ain't nobody really interested in all that. So I give you the high level. I said, I always tell people I design and build train stations. High level. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. That you may be impressed by that is fine. Isu, having done this and being tired of, you know, saying that, you know, he's a payroll manager, which is, baby, everybody need a payroll manager because that's how you get paid. But he likes to tell people that he's a fry cook to see what their reaction is. And the way that this man was like, he couldn't decide if Isu was joking or not. And so therefore, whether he could dismiss him out of hand or not. And he could never figure that out. And Isu just left him dangling in the wind. But by that time, we had been there for like 2-3 hours. And I had a couple of more drinks. Then we left there and drove all the way back into the city to go to the black party at Karma, which I had never been to.
Never heard of Karma.
It is all right. So you know where the Checkers is on Bladensburg Avenue, New York Avenue,
Bladensburg, yeah.
And across the street is the McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep on going down the street,
it used to be Aqua. It used to be Aqua. Yeah.
That's Aqua. Behind all of that, that's Queens Chapel Road, is a little back street, and Karma is
The one that
on
goes
there.
up that hill. There's a
You
string
go
of
up the
clubs up
hill
there.
and Karma's there. And then coincidentally, Echo Stage is right there on Echo Stage is on Queens Chapel Road, and Karma is down the street right there. So it's all like right there. So we get there.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
We get there, and so he was. We park in the car. It was a billion cars there already, and nowhere to park. But the guy found us a space. He was like, "That'll be $40." That was like $40 to park on the street that y'all don't own. The fuck. But we was getting in the club for free, so that was my contribution to pay for the parking. Okay, great. Oh, and by the way, I rented a neon lime green Hyundai Kona for the weekend. Because a bitch got tickets and I didn't need a boot, and because the boot it only cost me $199 to rent that car. It would have cost me at least $900 to get that boot taken off in my car.
Listen, you know how many thigh-high boots I have from the District of Columbia, bitch.
Right. So it was just cheaper to do that, use these little points to buy the price down and everything. And then so I had my cute little car. Plus, there was no way that I could forget where I parked, or I could always see my car from a distance and whatnot. So we get there, we get in line. Volt is, handling all of the business, whatever. We standing in line. The girls was paying either $60 or $100 to get in. It was $60, which was the regular entry. And if you wanted the fast pass, like we was at the amusement park, you could pay $100. I wasn't interested in paying either of those, but sure. So we get in, we got the multi-pass, so we get in, and we're looking for the friend who had the house party, because he was the one who was arranging the VIP area. So but we never found him. But it was still the three of us, me, Volt, Nisu, hanging out, right? So
I have a feeling I think I know who this person is that you're talking about. The friend.
I'll tell you his name later. He's tall, dark skinned.
Thin.
Yes. I'll tell you later. But anyway, so then we go to get drinks, right? And we're standing there. This slim cutie comes up to me. So I'm standing at the bar, Volt standing next to me. The cutie comes up to me. He was like, "Hey, daddy, you're cute." And I looked at him, and I immediately was like, I would fuck the shit out of him. And I said, "You're cute too." He says, "Thank you. I'm Bentley." Okay.
You want me to bend you over?
You gonna buy me and my homegirl a drink?
What?
I was like, what? I said, "You gonna buy me and my homegirl a drink?" I immediately turned away. I didn't even answer. I was like,
"Bitch, why are you here if you can't buy yourself a drink?" Okay. Because I'm like,
because girl, so first of all, here's the thing for me.
You're not that cute, and I'm not trying to sponsor you like that.
I would fuck you, but I don't pay for sex in any form.
I mean, if
and your whole so you didn't. First of all, you're not good at this game because you're cute, but not cute enough.
You're getting a bargain. The drink is probably $15.
To spend the money on my drinks, which was already because actually Volt.
You only spending like $15. That's $15 for some booty. You good?
Excuse me. If you paying $60 to get in, do you think the drinks was only $15? Them drinks was expensive as fuck. So I paid him dust, and then so he looked past me to Volt.
Tyra, shut the hell up, Tyra.
And he says, "Hey, cutie, you gonna buy me and my homegirl a drink?" And Volt is like, bzz, bzz. So we started getting the drinks, and he was like, "But what about me and my homegirl?" And the way he kept saying "me and my homegirl" was really getting on my nerves because I was like, "You are a," because listen, we call each other girl all the time, all the time. But for whatever reason, him saying it in this context was pissing me off because I was like, "You are a dude." So, and Volt, God bless him, bought them girls drinks, and then we walked away. So anyway, so that was that. And so by the time I got home, it was almost 4 o'clock in the morning.
Baby.
And I had said, I had said to myself, I was, with Kendra's death and everything, I said, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be out this weekend. Because worst come to worst, I know that come Monday, I could just sleep all day if necessary.
Bitch, don't tell me you went back out that door again.
Not that night, no.
Oh, I was about to say, bitch.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had a 10 a.m. curtain call to pick Volt and Isu up to go on this boat ride for Black Pride, and I was like,
listen. Actually, to be quite honest, that 4 o'clock in the morning on a Memorial Day weekend, baby, that's the good time to go to the Nasty Girl spot because baby, they are.
I know, but the Nasty Girl spot ain't even a Nasty Girl spot anymore.
Well, not that one. You'd have to go to the other one.
What's the other one?
The one on P Street.
Oh no, it just rained too.
No, not outside. I'm talking about the indoor one
on P Street
by DuPont.
What spot are you talking about?
14th over by 14th and P.
Oh, the Crew Club.
Yes, the Crew Club.
I thought you was talking about P Street Beach.
No, that's why I said, bitch. I don't do, bitch. I told you I don't do beaches, honey. I don't.
That's why I was like, you just said you don't do outdoors, and so I was like, no.
I know that. I know where they are.
Had to drive all the way back downtown. I had driven into downtown, back to Austin Hill, back to downtown, back to my house to go back to the Crew Club to come back home. I think not. So I was good. So I stayed home, and then I got up. Because I was also there. I mean, they could have Ubered, but I was like, I said I'm gonna be out. I'm going to be out. So we went on this brunch cruise, and I got my fucking life.
Okay, I saw some of the videos. It was cute.
Now let's just be clear. It was an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink brunch cruise.
Okay.
And I actually had a moment. I know that you and Pap and Volt keep thinking I'm going to have some sort of a dramatic post-death breakdown. There was not going to be any of that, but I did burst into tears at one point because one, I was drunk.
Out in public. That's a dramatic.
I wasn't, but it was like a million people around, so no one even noticed.
That's a dramatic moment, but okay, go ahead.
No one noticed. It wasn't. I didn't do like a dramatic wall slide or anything. I just
need to be in a bathroom to do that. That's when you only slide down a bathroom, a shower wall like that. That's all.
Right. And because I would so we started off with the orange mimosas. Then somehow the mimosas turned blue. Then they turned green. Then they turned red. Then they turned purple. I don't know what our server was putting in this shit. But she just kept bringing pictures around, and every time, at some point you were like, no, I'm good. But she was like, bitch, it's Pride. And I was like, okay, bitch, I don't want to fight.
She's like, bitch, we outside tonight.
Right. And at some point between the music, and they had this, the DJ was fine. And then they had a couple of drag shows, including Sabrina.
Okay.
Sabrina threw on some drag, and I spoke to him later, and I was like, "Girl, I thought you ain't do this anymore." She was like, "Baby, when the check is cute, I put the drag on."
Baby.
So
I saw her Sunday as well. We were laughing about that. I hadn't seen her, but go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And the DJ was cute, but then they had a live band, and at first, they were a go-go band, and it was just the music, and I could feel the music in my spirit. And just, I just felt so open and free. And me, you, Volt, Pap, we're all sort of the same kind of person. It's not that we don't have emotions, but we're generally just not the wild and free with our emotions kind of people.
No, girl, I don't know you like that.
And so, but in that moment, I felt completely open and free, and the tears just came, and I was just like, "Bitch, am I on this dance floor crying, bitch?" And then I tried to hold it together, and the more I tried to hold it together, the more it came. So I had to like walk off for a moment to get I was like, strong Xander, strong Xander, strong Xander. So by the time, so we finally got off of that boat like around 4 o'clock. No, we got off the boat like 2:30 or so. So by the time I dropped them off and got back home, I was like, all right, I'm the president of the fucking, because had I not been the president of Onyx Mid Atlantic, girl, the way the Green Lantern was about to get blown all the way the fuck off. Because girl, when I did get home and went into bed at 4, I got home at 4 o'clock. I took a shower. So and one lesson of all these quick changes is to have your shit laid out before you go to bed, because that simplifies your decision making when you get up in the morning. So I didn't actually go to sleep until like 4:45, maybe even 5 a.m. And I got up at like 9:15, 9:30. So I didn't get a lot of sleep. So I get home and I needed to be back. And I told Isu I would pick him up by like 5:45. Girl, I didn't even leave my house till 6:15 because I was just running slow. So we got to the Green Lantern. That was cute. Then we left the Green Lantern and went to Kiki Lounge, which I had never been to. That was cute for the overhang party.
I think I've heard of Kiki Lounge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right across from it's across the street from Nelly's.
I'll say, weren't you on the poster? Aren't you the poster child for the?
I was one of the poster children, yes. So that's why I went to put in an appearance. Like, hello, thank you. You may kiss the ring. Yes, that was lovely. That was good to see you. So that was cute. And I ran into Prince, big booty boy. We met you from the pool party at the one that has the Twitter account. And the brown skin with the big fro. So I ran into him there. So Volt needs to Easter and I stayed there. Meanwhile, Volt was at the BET thing for their whatever big fancy Negro event that they were having. Where you had to be like dressed up for it, Right. So we did there. We left there. We were on our way to get food, and that's when we saw Dylan. Dylan was looking cute in their little outfit. They rolled down the window of their Uber and was like, Division. And he was like, hey girl, hey. And he was like, I'm in my Uber on my way to the Green Lantern. It's so good seeing you. It's good seeing you too, girl. All right, bye. It was just like the cutest little moment.
I saw one picture, Dylan. Was this the pink outfit? Is that what this was?
I can't recall because, baby, I'm telling you, I had a ton of mimosas and shots that was why I was fucked up on that cruise, because I had a lot to drink. Then we left there, and I had at least one drink at the Green Lantern, at least 2 drinks at Kiki Lounge, and then we left there. Have you ever been to Half Smoke right there on the corner?
On U Street?
Yeah. They're closing, but they're moving to Mount to Riverdale or some shit. So they're just reopening in another location. So that was their last weekend in that location. So we went and had a little hot dog, whatever. Then we came back to the car, and I had already had my clothes with me, because then we were going to Echo Stage for the white party, and I finally got a chance to wear those pants. Remember those white flowy pants that I bought to wear to the Renaissance tour, and I changed at the last minute to wear the
They were like the linen-y ones, like the dressy ones.
Yes.
Okay.
So I finally had a chance to wear that, as well as is Eccentric in here? I didn't see Eccentric. Come on. Remember the shirts that he got us, the one that said Lewis on the front?
Yes.
So that was my white ensemble.
Okay.
So,
right.
So we pumped it to side note, the people that we were supposed to hang out with and sit in the VIP told us, because I had never been to there before, so I didn't know where the other part of the VIP section was. So we connected with the VIP group at Echo Stage, and so we got in, and so we were actually in VIP there. And this was a Daryl Wilson function. So we had a wonderful time, baby. So the Patron, the vodka was Tito's, but sure, it was free. It was
good.
It was champagne. It was Hennessy. I didn't drink any Hennessy because I do all them white liquors. First of all, I don't like brown liquor to begin with, and I definitely was not going to drink any Hennessy on top of tequila, on top of champagne, on top of vodka. So
you had already had all of the fucking liquors. If you have a Long Island iced tea, you just had what the. But okay, I get it. All right. Okay.
So we was having a good time, and the music was all right. So then Cedric came on, so I was like, great. So they're gonna switch it up or whatever. But he was playing hip hop music, and then they introduced the headliner. Now I want to be clear. Before Thursday, I knew Volt was going to be in town, but I didn't really know that my weekend was going to pan out the way that it did. Okay. I thought before then I was going to hook up with you and Deviant and go, because you had sent me the itinerary for Big Boy Pride. I was like, great, this is just my speed. One event Friday, one event Saturday, one event Sunday. Perfect. I didn't know I was going to be outside all weekend.
I mean,
so I didn't know who was going to be there at Echo Stage. So when they brought Kaya on, I was like, why? But so because I did not know that she was supposed to be the headliner. So I remember I posted online that this bitch is, so I didn't catch on to the fact that she was the headliner. So I have been chatting because Dominique Morgan was in town for, because they actually honored T.S. Madison with T.S. Madison Day.
That was the 23rd, right?
Yeah, whatever that Friday was, yes.
Okay.
And so it was T.S. Madison Day. So that was why she was in town for that. So I'm texting her, and about 2:35 in the morning, I text Dominique. I said, Kaya is on stage talking shit about Madison. And I said, she said Maddie made it. She said Maddie made it seem like she didn't fuck with the LGMT community, because that's what she said. Because Kaya got a mush mouth. She said the LGMT. I know what she meant, but that's what she said. And then I sent an email. I said the emoji with Marie Kondo. I said I love mess. And then I said, bitch, she has been performing for a while. Because listen, bitch, other than my neck, my back, you couldn't get me to name a single.
There might be 2 songs I know by Kaya. Might be 2
This
songs.
bitch performed for a good 35 minutes. Now, I was fucked up. I wasn't fucked up. I wasn't incapable of driving home, but I was very lubricated and having a lovely evening. So it was fine on one hand, but on the other hand, I was like, this bitch is still performing. So,
Don't trust no motherfucking nigga that you trying to help.
Hold on, I'm trying to get the video together because, bitch, you know, so what did I say? I love mess.
Right.
So here goes some mess.
You want to put it up?
Yeah. Hold on. It's take a moment for it to. Oh, good. I can load it directly.
Oh, and that's some bullshit. Don't trust no motherfucking nigga that you trying to help. They're trying to steal, or they're trying to make you look like you don't support them.
So the first thing is that. So I'm disconnected from this shit. One, I didn't know that Kaya was going to be there. Two, I didn't know all of the ugliness behind. I know that at one point they were on a show. They were doing whatever.
They had the Queen's Supreme Court or the Queen's Court, excuse me.
But I always felt like Kaya was super messy and unnecessarily so.
She is. She is, and
they were just no longer doing the show. But I didn't know it was all of this. But,
oh no, she had to. If Maddie had not broken away from her in the sense that they weren't doing anything together, all the stuff that T.S. Madison has going on right now, she probably would have never had.
Oh, 100%.
And all of that stuff. But anyway,
right. And you know,
so that you trying to help, they're trying to steal, or they're trying to make you look like you don't support the LGBT community because you don't fuck with they ass. I've been coming to DC. I've been coming to Pride for.
So while she didn't misgender Madison directly,
she
did refer to her as, she said a nigga, but she's
talking about the
which is part of her MO, which I didn't know, but that was when I messaged Dominique about what was going on. And again, I ain't know all of this shit. And apparently this is some shit that
now I want to talk
that baby. So then here's Madison going in. Oh, gotta
now I want to talk about this washed up has-been Kia Sorrento. But nobody even drives Kias anymore. And if you do, you do get step your credit up, girl. You go out here on this stage, right? And you get to DC. I didn't even know that you were really booked because I'm so booked. You get here and you let these I want to talk to the homosexual men first. Allow that woman to say that I tried to call to stop her show. Girl, you were booked for lemon pepper wings and $2,500. You came there in a sheen white lace set with a pair of Blair White.
She looked terrible on the stage.
Standing in front of the stage screaming a 35-year-old song, neck and back, bitch. Are you kidding me? You haven't been booked since we split. You are your own cancer, Kaya. You speak about us being men in wigs, men in dress. You speak about this, right? You never take any accountability for the things that you say. You canceled yourself. You open your mouth. You call us sissies in wigs, punks in dresses, niggas and dudes, and blah, blah, blah. You're not.
Which is exactly what she did on stage.
That's what she does.
She kept referring to dudes and niggas and all that other shit. And then I'm not because
But wait, listen. The read for me was $2,500 and some lemon pepper
wings. And the shade was some other woman, and I'm not sure if whether this woman was trans or not. Some other woman came out. It was like, you thought it was T.S. Madison that tried to get you canceled. She was like, bitch, it was me. So apparently she called up Daryl Wilson, tried to get her canceled, but Daryl wasn't entertaining the call. And that magazine, the gay magazine that I posted, Daryl, they tried to get what Daryl was like. So why did you? Daryl blocked them.
So listen, I don't know Daryl, but what I don't like about Daryl is it seems like whenever there's mess that goes on, his name is somehow attached to the venue. That's what I just find very strange. But I don't know. Daryl Wilson's been doing parties for God knows how long, and he's just been a regular dude. But I just find that really funny. But okay,
yes. And so then I guess after Kaya left, there was some other performances and some other bullshit, and then we left there, and so it was good. So then Sunday Sunday. We went to brunch at my favorite spot, Rosa Mexicana, and I was good. I only had one pomegranate margarita.
The pitcher?
No. I had one pomegranate margarita. But I did have a Bloody Mary first. So I had a Bloody Mary, and then I had the frozen pomegranate margarita. Then best friend and I went shopping at IKEA. But baby, it don't take much. That one pomegranate margarita, she gets you together. So baby, the way I was on this road, white knuckling it down 95 to Woodbridge was like,
Bitch, listen, that ain't nothing. Drive on two wheels all the way back when and shit's floating. Listen. Yeah.
And so Monday, I did exactly what I said. Absolutely nothing. Nathan, nada. I was wiped out in the best possible way. I regret nothing. And then of all of the shit that I did, so I had a wonderful time, right? So I'll keep it cute. If I can get in free to the VIP section, I might go to the white party and the black party next year. But there is no scenario under where I would have paid for either of those functions, having gone to them and been in the audience, because the music wasn't hitting like that. Maybe I would have paid $60 to support Cedric, because I'll support house music, but he was playing hip hop and shit, so I'm not supporting that. I'm not paying just to get in to be around a bunch of other Negroes just dressed in white or black. And the music at the black party was terrible to me. Baby, since when has all of hip hop just been niggas rapping over a drum track? I felt so old in that moment. And listen, baby, I love a good old hood track. But I was like, this all sounds exactly the same to me.
People say that about house music.
I couldn't even get into it. It was just like, what the fuck? So one event that I would go to again and would pay my good American dollars for is that boat cruise. Because yes, it was all you can drink, but it was just a really good time. The DJ, the music, the drag show, the people, the everything, it was just a really good time. So next year, I'm gonna make sure that we all, are like aligned, and we'll definitely all sort of go to, I was an invited guest this year. So, I was just like, okay, can I bring like 4 or 5 other people?
Listen, no, baby, I get it. I'm
but the
here
thing
for
is that the sponsor table that we had was empty. So you certainly could have come. And by the time we found that the boat was about to depart, it would have been like, hey, Epic, can you get down here in 10 minutes?
Absolutely not. Listen, y'all know my ass is late. Absolutely not.
Right. So, but yes, I will definitely, if I'm in town, because I'm thinking, it might be time for me to do a return to IML next year.
Okay. And I've still yet to do that.
I know. So maybe we'll prioritize that next year. But if I am ever in town, I will do that boat ride, because that boat ride is cute. And then plus I met the executive director of Us Helping Us. I already knew the executive director of Impulse. And so I was trying to make connections, because, listen, when you are in leadership,
AJ?
No.
He no longer. I think he was at Impulse, but again, because I was going to say, he's over.
I'll tell you who he is. I don't want to put his name out here like that, and where we met him before. But I had an absolutely wonderful weekend, and I woke up this morning with the sniffles, and so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to work. So, I mean, I was at work on Tuesday because I had to go home. I was at home, but Wednesday we were supposed to be in the office today. I was like, yeah, not feeling it. So yes, that was my weekend. It was absolutely wonderful. thank you to Vote for inviting me to hang out this weekend. But even he, all of us, we all got different stresses and whatnot going on. And even though it was work for him, it wasn't like work. You know what I mean? So it was work, meaning you can't get us so fucked up. But it was still hanging out and being sociable. And we both, actually all three of us, me, Volt, and Isu, talked about it was really the de-stressing that we really needed. So it was good.
I concur with that weekend because it definitely did something for me, especially coming off of feeling how I felt about my job. And I think I haven't really been right since before I left for the trip, since before we left for Florida, because I was just pissed off about a whole bunch of things. And so I felt like this extra weekend was like the good that I needed. And then on top of that, I thank God I get to work from home. This particular
I didn't mean to start it. I meant to just have it up.
But no. But no, I'm just saying because it's been the past 4 weeks I've been in the office every single fucking day. But it is what it is. But listen, I'm out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good weekend for de-stressing.
And so here's a good summary of the weekend. So the music that you hear in the background is this is the band that was playing. This motherfucker.
Who was that?
He is on some Tyler Perry show, but he also is a singer and has an album coming out. He's
I think I know who you're talking about. It'll come to me in a second.
No, yeah. What's the one that I watched the first 8 episodes at high speed? That's got the whole gay storyline. Beauty in Black.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes. So he is not the son that's in the family. He is the boyfriend.
The boyfriend or the father?
No.
Oh no, I'm mixing stories. I'm mixing Beyond the Gate.
So there is the father. He's got the thing going on with the light-skinned stripper, not him.
Which is the girlfriend's, I mean the daughter's girlfriend.
Something like that.
Story?
But okay. No, they also have a son. And remember at the very beginning of the show, she came home and caught the son fucking some dude in the house.
See, I didn't watch
that. Was the dude that he was fucking. But remember, I only watched the first 8 episodes on high speed just to see all the gay shit. And then because I don't really know what the story is about. But anyway, He is the other guy, the guy that was being fucked, I think, in the house or whatever. So he also has a music career. Career.
Okay.
So he sang on stage. And he has an album coming out this summer.
We appreciate you for that.
Yes. So I'm fucked up when you all. I was like, why is the camera so close to my face?
And but you was like, you was from here. You was like, I'm like, Dominion, what the hell is going?
Yes, girl, I was having a wonderful time. So anyway, we can skip all of the YouTubes and the TikToks and go straight to your stories because it's 9:22 already.
We got a whole bunch of stories here. Let's see how we're gonna do this. Let's see what we're gonna do. So, real quick. So we had Diddy news. We had a lot of stuff going on, but they're still doing the trial. They went back to the Kid Cudi thing and his car being set on fire, and they're trying to, because remember the charges that Diddy is facing have to do. There's some racketeering charges as well. So much like when we talked about this originally, much like with Al Capone, they didn't get him on anything as far as alcohol. They got him on like tax evasion and racketeering and shit. So this is what they're trying to go after.
That is how they get the girls.
Right. So this is how they're trying to go after him. So anyway, they were talking about that. So they also had his former assistant, Capricorn Clark. She showed up on the stage and testified against him, saying how she was witnessed Cassie being abused a couple of times. She talked about how she went and bought her a personal like a burner phone so she could kind of, get in touch with Kid Cudi, because Kid Cudi and Cassie had dated at one particular point in time, and Diddy was not happy about that. So that brings to mind the idea that, well, maybe when Kid Cudi's car got set on fire, maybe it was Diddy that actually did it. And they did say that in the court case that there was someone that drove away in a car that was registered to Bad Boy Records. So it's a whole bunch of like nonsense that's going on in here. Then it was also because there was some fingerprints that were missing during the Kid Cudi investigation on the car or whatever. They were trying to go for a mistrial, or Diddy's team, trying to go for a mistrial or whatever. And it's like, no, we're not doing a mistrial. It's just not there. We're not doing it. So that's been denied. But again, Diddy news is still going on, so we're going to talk about that. Or we're not going to talk about that much more. We'll just keep updating you on that. In the news, on NBC News the other day, I found out that the Chrisleys, both Todd and Julie Chrisley, they're from the reality show Chrisley Knows Best, they may be getting a pardon. President Donald Trump called
it's not a maybe. It's already happened.
Well, okay. So it's already happened. They've been pardoned because it's supposed to be on his desk today, and I think he's already signed it already. Apparently,
that's what I heard, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so the judge handed down down sentences of 12 years for Todd Chrisley and 7 years for his wife in November 2022 after an Atlanta jury found them guilty of fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy to defraud the U.S. following a weeks-long federal trial. They later defrauded the IRS, evading collection of $500,000 in taxes owed by Todd. Prosecutors alleged while raking in millions of dollars from their TV show. The Chrisleys were also alleged to have failed to file tax returns or pay any taxes for the years 2013 to 2016. The Chrisleys got a lot going on, but Donald Trump has pardoned them in some particular way. Well, not in some particular way, but he's pardoned them, and I just for the life of me, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm leaving that alone. Other news and OnlyFans news. Annie Knight is taking some time to recover. She's an OnlyFans content creator. Hours after the OnlyFans model revealed she was hospitalized 2 days after completing a challenge where she had sex with 583 men in 6 hours. First of all, I don't even understand how you could have 583 men in you in 6 hours. I don't even understand it. Like, is this a whole session, or is this they just coming in and just sticking they shit in?
97 men per hour.
Like, what? Who does that? Like,
I need to define what do you define as sex? Because just the logistics of each one of them getting into position.
Listen, so on top of all that, she said it's just gotten sort of out to the point now where our body has gone, hey, high cortisol, can't function. And this is what she was talking about to Us Weekly, basically making her endometriosis worse. And as we all know, the hormonal imbalances can cause irregular and heavy periods. So unfortunately, that's what she's been dealing with since. This was her quote or her comment to Us Weekly. Adding that she also bought her dream house in the days leading up to the challenge. The 28-year-old suspected that the stress may have exacerbated the toll the activity took on her body. Why buying a house is going to be stressful as getting dicked down by 583 people, but I don't. But okay. But in any event, she made a post on Instagram and it said, being hospitalized after taking 583 men in a day was not on my 2025 bingo card. Girl,
how?
Listen, I'm reporting this news That's all I got.
You don't make the news, you just report it.
I'm just reporting it. I'm gonna jump into these birthdays real quick. Joan Collins turned 92. Lee Merriweather is 90. Comedian Tommy Chong of Cheech and Chong is 87. Sportscaster Brent Musburger turned 86. Sir Ian McKellen turns 86. And he's also scheduled to come back for the next Marvel movie as well to reprise his role as Magneto. Bob Dylan turns 84. Leslie Uggams turns 82. Gladys Knight turns 81, along with Frank Oz and also Patti LaBelle. Singer John Fogerty is 80, along with Priscilla Presley. Rocker Stevie Nicks turns 77.
And Priscilla Presley dead?
Priscilla Presley turns 80.
Oh, it's Lisa Presley that's dead.
That's the
daughter. The one that was married to Michael Jackson.
That's Lisa, yeah.
Yeah.
Philip Michael Thomas from Miami Vice and also from Sparkle, because that's when he was fine as far as I was concerned. He's 76. Pam Grier turns 76 along with Hank Williams. Jazz singer Dee Dee Bridgewater 75. Alfred Molina turns 72. Roseanne Cash turns 70. Drew Carey turns 67. Morrissey turns 66. Actress Kristen Scott Thomas turns 65. And if you don't know who she is, she's the lead role in Under the Cherry Moon with Prince. Perry Gilpin from Frasier, 64. She was the...
You gonna go to the record store?
Right. Perry was the housekeeper or the physical therapist or whatever.
No, she was the... That's Daphne.
Perry?
That's
Daphne,
Perry
yeah.
was the assistant in the radio station.
Is that Perry or is that Rod? Oh, that's Rod. Okay, I mixed the two. Okay. Well, anyway, she turns 84. I'm sorry, 64. Bobcat Goldthwait turns 63. Jeannie Francis from General Hospital, 63. Mike Myers turns 62. Mike Myers actually is a strange person to me, but the last picture I've seen of him with this all white hair situation, he looks normal. He looks halfway decent. But okay. What else am I saying? Adam Carolla, 61, along with Lenny Kravitz, who turned 61. Todd Bridges turned 60, as well as John C. Reilly. Helena Bonham Carter turns 59. Johnny Gill turned 58. And I saw some pictures and some videos of him having a cookout over Memorial Day weekend or something with a whole bunch of people, and everybody was singing. So Cedric the Entertainer. I also saw what's the judge name from Detroit? Judge, not Joe Brown, but the other one.
This was a heterosexual function.
What? So Kylie Minogue turns 57. Our brother Seven Onyx turns 57. Rapper Chubb Rock is also 57. Carl Payne from Martin and the Cosby Show is 56, along with Dondre Whitfield from Queen Sugar, who's 56. Naomi Campbell turns 55, along with Joseph Fiennes, Jamie Kennedy, and Octavia Spencer. Why did I think Octavia Spencer was so much older than me? But okay. Jack McBrayer turns 52. Maxwell turns 52. Jewel, the singer, turns 51. Andre 3000, the rapper, turns 50, along with Lauryn Hill. Killian Murphy turns
50 2 weeks ago.
Say it again.
Nothing. Never mind. It wasn't funny.
I didn't think so. Okay. All right. Elizabeth Hasselbeck turns 48. You know, she's a talk show host. You know, she
gives a shit.
Whatever. Ryan Coogler turns 39. Ryan Coogler's only 39 years old. What the fuck? Dancer Mark Ballas from Dancing with the Stars is 39. Olympian Ali Raisman turns 31. You know, with the side face.
Same face.
Right. Lily Rose Depp turns 26. And other birthdays this week, Jim Thorpe, the Olympian, Ian Fleming, the author, James Bond, T-Bone Walker, the blues musician, Wild Bill Hickok, the cowboy, Vincent Price, the actor, Christopher Lee, the actor, Henry Kissinger, former Secretary of State, Louis Gossett Jr., Lisa Left Eye Lopez had a birthday as well. Al Jolson, the jazz singer, John Wayne, Peter Cushing, both actors, had birthdays. Miles Davis, musician, had a birthday. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the philosopher, Anne H., as well as Queen Victoria, shared birthdays as well. Douglas Fairbanks, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the boxer, Arthur Conan Doyle, or Sir Conan Doyle, I guess, had a birthday. And also Harvey Milk would have celebrated that birthday, but again, they're no longer with us. Some news of the weird real quick. There's a place in France, Landernau, France. It holds the distinction of being home of the largest gathering of people dressed as Smurfs. Perhaps because of the excitement about an upcoming Smurfs movie, the town gathered 3,076 costumed people together, breaking a record set in Germany in 2019. The Strumpfs, as they're known in France, were created by Belgian cartoonist Pierre Culliford. So there we are. Another story, a couple in Great Abington, Cambridgeshire, England, are distraught after being caught in a scheme to build their dream home. Jeremy and Elaine Zielinski were approved to build a 2-story commercial building on a 17 acres plot of land for a horse semen collection center and laboratory. But instead, they constructed a 3-bedroom home. When the local council found out, the planning inspector issued an order to demolish the home within 12 months. The Zelenskys told the council that the COVID-19 pandemic had ruined their business, so they switched gears to turn the property into their home. One of them said it doesn't make sense to tear it down. They didn't want to go live in a caravan. This is what Elaine said, the wife, and she says her husband didn't know that converting the property would be illegal, but the inspector dismissed their appeal, saying it had been built as a house from the start. The Zelenskys are seeking legal advice, and so we'll see how that's going to go.
Sounds like stunt queenery to me.
Well, and there was that. There were some guards at a prison in Costa Rica. They caught a mule, well, actually a cat, that was ferrying more than 230 grams of marijuana and 67 grams of crack cocaine in early May. This is reported by CBS News. Now, the guard spotted the tiny black and white feline after it jumped over a periphery fence. After it was caught, packages were cut away from its fur. The courier was turned over to the National Animal Health Service for evaluation. Listen, people going to find what they find. Listen, let's talk about these AMAs real quick. They were hosted this year by Jennifer Lopez, and I hope everybody got a chance to look at it. It went down at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas in in May 26th, 2 days ago. And some of the biggest names in music added some new trophies to their collections. Kendrick Lamar led this year's nominations, followed by Post Malone, Billie Eilish, Chappell Rowan, and Shabuzi. Janet Jackson received the Icon Award. Rod Stewart went home with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Zach Brown was honored with the inaugural Veterans Voice Award presented by Easy Day Foundation. Lopez, Jackson, and Stewart performed at this year's AMAs, in addition to Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, Gloria Estefan, Benson Boone, Layne Wilson, Renee Rapp, Becky G, Manuel Turizo, and Alex Warren. The presenters for the ceremony were Alex Earl, Cara Delevingne, Sierra, Dan and Shay, Dylan Efron, Heidi Klum, Jordan Childs, Kai Cenat, Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Maroney, Nikki Glassy, Shabuzi, Tiffany Haddish, and Wayne Brady. Funny thing, Heidi Klum presented the American Music Award for Favorite Male Hip Hop Artist, and she addressed anyone who may think that she's not qualified to hand out the honor. She said, "Did you know I once made a track with Snoop Dogg, which officially makes me the most unexpected hip hop artist to ever come out of Germany?" She said, "That's right." She said, she released the song Chai Tea with Heidi featuring Snoop in 2022. So again, a play on the word gin and juice with the Snoop Dogg and all that. Okay, all right, whatever. I found it funny.
It was funny in your mind. I get it.
It was funny in my mind. Okay, yeah. Janet Jackson celebrated her storied career at the AMAs. So she danced and she performed. So let me just put this out there. Let me be state for the record. As the Janetic that I am, what I am going to say is this was not one of my favorite performances by Janet. Let me be clear. She didn't do anything bad. It just wasn't the performance that I'm used to seeing for her. The last performance that I saw from her that she did on the, I think it was the VMAs where she had the yellow on. Was it the VMAs or was it the MTV Music Awards? I can't remember. Or was it? I can't remember. But where she did the whole mega music mix where she had the yellow shirt on and the African, the tribal print thing on. That was one of that was a lot better than this one was. But here's the thing. Janet Jackson was there to receive the AMA Icon Awards. She's done every fucking thing that she's wanted to do. And I'm sure there's probably some other things that she wants to do. But for the most part, Janet Jackson has done a lot of shit. She's been a trendsetter in a lot of different areas. And while she's doing a residency at this particular point. So all she's doing now is, bitch, I made it. I'm here. I'm getting my award. And I'm just going to do this performance that's part of my residency. Was it cute for a residency? It might be, but it wasn't one of my favorite ones because she started off with Someone to Call My Lover. And I'm like, that's cute, but I don't really, it's all right, but it was never one of my favorites. She had a little remix in there with Mariah Carey's song in there. And, one of our brothers, Maximus, called me because, he's a lamb. He loves Mariah. And listen, I don't discount Mariah, but, he called me about that, but it just wasn't one of my favorite performances. But I will say this: she looked amazing. It's like the bitch is aging backwards, and she just looked great. And she had these oversized jeans on, over this white puffy jacket, all this hair, so it looked good on her. She's physically more fit and in looking like how I used to see her when she's touring a lot. So listen, I'm happy for her, but it wasn't one of my favorite performances. So, that's my take on it. She did have an interesting acceptance speech. She said that she meant no disrespect in any way, but she said, "I don't consider myself an icon. My family, myself, and our dream wasn't ever to be famous. We weren't raised like that." She humbly told the crowd in her acceptance speech, she said, "We always had a special love for music, dancing, and singing, and fame came with the result of hard work and dedication." So I'll give her credit for that. It may not have been hers, but I think that Joe Jackson was like, "Oh no, y'all gonna make us some goddamn money." But that's another story. Gwen Stefani reminded the AMA's crowd why they fell in love with her. She opened with a performance, introduced her husband Blake Shelton, and she did her new song "Swallow My Tears" from this new album. But then she launched into her raucous rendition of the two biggest hits, "Sweet Escape" and "Holla Back Girl," which was a cute little performance. Jennifer Lopez opened the show with a major performance. She did like everybody's hit song. She sang a snippet of her own song, "Dance Again." She danced to tracks like Kendrick Lamar's "Not Like Us," Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish's "Guess," Benson Boone's Beautiful Things," Tinashe's "Nasty," Shabuzi's "A Bar Song," Teddy Swims' "Lose Control," and more. And then she even had this spicy moment where she kissed a couple of her dancers. Okay, so woo, great. Gloria Estefan performed. I thought that was amazing. Billie Eilish won 7 trophies. Eminem won 2 along with Beyonce. SZA, Doechii, Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga won awards as well. That's all I got for the AMAs. That's my quick take on the AMAs itself.
Well, all right. It's been a fun show.
Yes, indeed it has.
Are on episode 298. Next week will be episode 299, and then we will be off a week recuperating from Pride. And episode 200 will be on Saturday,
300.
June 20. What did I say? 200. 300 will be on Saturday, June 21st. So be on the lookout for details.
Yes. Your birthday is when, Dylan? Hey, Master Mac, what's going on, baby?
Hey, Mac, you have been on my list to call. I will be texting you tomorrow at some point. So, yes, it has been a fun Memorial Day weekend. I am looking forward to the shenanigans for Pride. And starting with, we're going to see, next Wednesday is the birthday. We're going to see Sibling Rivalry next Thursday.
Rivalry. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this because that's one of the shows that I've always wanted to see. And I swear to God, there's so many similarities between me and the brother, and then also when you and I get together, like there's so many similarities. I'll be like, bitch, what? Like, what, bitch, what?
Right.
Listen.
Well, all right, kids. I am tired. It is time for dinner, and it is time to relax for the evening. So, any last words, Mr. Epic?
Listen, as we're going into this Pride Month, and we are out here in all these crowds and surrounded by all these people, I want people to keep in mind that COVID is still out here. I want people to keep in mind that monkeypox is still out here and other things are still out here, but also guns are still out here, and ignorant, nasty, rude people, evil people are out here. So be conscious of your surroundings. Pay attention to all that's around you. Yeah, and try to love on the people that are around you so that you can make sure that everybody makes it out the same way in which they started these events. That's all I got to say.
Well, all right, kids. We love you all very much. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. You all.
I'm sorry. And I just want to let y'all know, June 1st officially starts 30 days of motherfucking Epic. Just so y'all know that. I just want to let y'all know that it officially starts June 1st because that's my mama's birthday. Because without her, I wouldn't be here. But all I'm saying is it starts 30 days of Epic. Just so to be clear.
Well, all righty then. And it's also Black Music Month, so get ready for that.
That part too.
All right. I'm up. I've already got my first 15 choices. I gotta get the rest of the list together.
So how many we doing 25? We doing 30? How many we doing?
No, I do. I post every day during Black Music Month.
Okay. Well, no, but I'm saying for the
We'll
show, you
figure
want to
out
talk?
what we'll do. We'll talk about that this weekend.
Gotcha. Cool.
Okay.
Beans. And
All right,
listen,
everyone.
if y'all want if y'all want to do something specifically for Black Music Month, listen, hit us up. Let us know. Let us know what you're thinking. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. Yeah, we need y'all out here because that's how we're gonna keep this show going. We're gonna keep laughing and sharing the joy with everybody.
Damn right.
Yeah.
All right, kids. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you and good night. Bye.